Hello and welcome to ILWomen's February update, taking a look back at the first month of action, what those outcomes mean for the month of March and beyond. I am ILWomen Editor Halley Quillinan, and we'll be looking at a few top-line topics, biggest wins, biggest surprises, and more as we head into the month of March. First up, the 5 biggest outcomes that we've seen thus far in order of importance. Starting with the battle at the top. Maryland 13, North Carolina 10 in a rematch of the 2016 National Championship game and the 2015 National Championship game. These two teams always managed to find a way back to each other at the end of May. Is this a rematch of the National Championship game? Likely too early to tell, but let's break down this game. Jen Giles, a sophomore midfielder, moving from reserve midfield role as a freshman into mainstay All-American potential as a sophomore, led the Terps with 6 points in this one on 3 goals and 3 assists alongside Zoe Stukenberg, an All-American in her own right who tallied 3 goals from the midfield as well. Defensively, Nadine Hadney had a breakout game, really showcasing her ability to shut down multiple players on the North Carolina offense. And in goal, Megan Taylor stood strong with 9 saves, a number of them coming in the first half to keep Carolina at bay. But taking a look at Carolina, also one of the biggest outcomes of the season, and ironically the same score of 13-10, their win over Florida in Gainesville. The Gators opened up their season against North Carolina, but were unable to match the Heels from the draw control circle, a battle that Sammy Jo Tracy wins more often than not. Florida's Haley Hicklin posted 12 saves in the game, had a standout day for the Gators in her debut as a starting goalkeeper. In this game, Shayna Parekha and Sydney Parekha both tallied hat tricks, but they could not match the offensive force and clutch performance of Sammy Jo Tracy. Kaylee Waters posted 12 saves for the Heels. The Heels may have fallen to Maryland, but they hold true in the number 2 spot with their win over Florida alone. And the third biggest outcome of the season, keeping right with it, Florida's win over USC 15-10. Molly Stevens had a breakout game. 5 goals was sensational for the Gators, who now leapfrog the Trojans into that number 3 spot. Shayna Parekha had 4 goals. Sammy Burgess 5 points on 2 goals and a game-high 3 assists. Haley Hicklin posted 13 saves, showcasing that she is an All-American caliber goalkeeper in 2017. For USC, although they dominated the draw control circle, they couldn't capitalize offensively, and credit the Florida defense, led by All-American Caroline Fitzgerald, Cara Trombetta, a freshman who's impressing this season, Taylor Bresnahan, and Anaya Flanagan. This could be the best defensive group that we see in 2017. Now, outside of the top 3, one of the biggest outcomes we've seen so far this season, Stony Brook's win over Towson, 10-9. A few takeaways from this. One, it shows Stony Brook's ability to come up clutch and win close games. Kylie O'Miller had the game-winning goal, and she was able to take this game, put it on her shoulders, and deliver. She had a goal to go along with 3 assists. You were able to see the different defensive schematics that the shot clock era was going to usher in. Towson and Stony Brook, 2 of the best defenses in 2016, showcasing just that again in their 2017 debut. A number of zone defensive sets, but also man-to-man sets, showcasing the ability to slow a game down in this shot clock era and how defenses can be rewarded ultimately. And second part to this, it showed a lot about Towson. The Tigers are a team that did start the season 0-2 against Stony Brook and Penn State, but stormed out to wins over UMBC, Georgetown, and most recently Loyola in a battle of Baltimore bragging rights. The Tigers are 3-2 heading into the month of March and are playing a key upset position as they head into March and April Lacrosse as the CAA frontrunner alongside of James Madison. Last but not least, the biggest outcome of the month, in my opinion, Colorado's close call over Northwestern in overtime, 11-10. Which brings us to our next point in the show. Who has played the biggest surprise role this season? I like to think a pleasant surprise, and that is the Colorado Buffaloes. Staying with Colorado, Colorado is a team that's able to play a number of different defensive sets against you, a number of different offensive looks on this team. Paige Sokenson might just be the best goalkeeper in the West. She had 19 saves against that Northwestern team. Colorado followed up that win with a huge win over UMass. They head into the month of March and April as the number 2 team to beat in the MPSF, just behind USC. Colorado now having an unfamiliar target on their back as Stanford looks for a key win in conference to be an NCAA contender. Likely an unfamiliar position for Colorado, but one that they'll be ready for. Ann Elliott, no stranger to having a target on her back, played and coached at Northwestern during that dynasty run. Colorado has Penn State this month. They have Oregon, they have Denver, Stony Brook, Stanford, USC left on their schedule. A lot of room to continue that upward trend.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Lastly, who is the top 10 moving into the month of March? The IWLCA and media poll differs a bit in our rankings, but let's take a look at my top 10 for what it's worth. Number 1, Maryland. The Terps are number 1 until proven otherwise. They earned that right, topping the Tar Heels in the latter half of February. But Tar Heels come in at number 2. It seems it's always a battle at the top between these two teams. Trailing the Tar Heels at number 3, the Florida Gators. Their big win over USC puts them right in that title conversation. At number 4, Syracuse, a team that had a lot of question marks coming into the season, but the Orange Youth has proven all is well, despite the fact that Kayla Traynor is no longer in Central New York. Coming in at number 5, USC. The Trojans have a quality win over Northwestern, fell short in Florida, but certainly the best of the West coming into March with a target on their back as MPSF play kicks off. Number 6, Penn State. The Nittany Lions were a team on the watch last year, had some up and downs, but proved that they were a force to be reckoned with, nearly taking down North Carolina in the NCAA semifinal. The Nittany Lions coming in as Maryland's biggest competition in the Big Ten for yet another season in 2017. In number 7, Stony Brook. The Seawolves are the America East's top contender as they kick off their conference play. But Stony Brook has a lot of opportunity to continue its upward trend with a lot of the teams we just mentioned on this schedule. And number 8, Princeton. Princeton opened its season with a monster offensive showing over Temple and a huge quality win over Virginia. The Tigers are more balanced than ever, and I think their offensive balance fits the shot clock era to a T. The Tigers are the front runner for the Ivy League, in my opinion, this year. Moving on to number 9, Colorado. The Cinderella team of 2017 thus far through the month of February has that quality win over Northwestern, who comes in at number 10. Yes, Northwestern started its season at 2-2, but those 2 losses were by 1 goal in overtime to USC and Colorado, 2 coaches that played under Kelly Monty Hiller at Northwestern. The Wildcats have a .500 record, but are one of the top teams in college lacrosse and are used to pulling out big wins as the season continues. And there you have it, your ILWomen February update. Be sure to follow along at ILWomen on Twitter and Instagram. And be sure to tune in every Thursday for the new ILWomen podcast, where Terry Foy, Matt Kinnear, and I aimlessly banter about what's going on in the women's D1, D2, and D3 ranks and have special guests, the likes of IL's Ashley McCullough. Be sure to tune in, let us know what you want to hear, and check back next month for ILWomen March update.